Most people believe that the easiest way to grow your business is to just put more hours in. But if that were true, every single business owner who slaved away for 20 hours a day would have a hugely successful and wildly profitable enterprise-sized business. But that simply isn't the case, is it? The simple fact is there will be times in your business where you are feeling crushed by the overwhelming amount of things that you need to do. And putting more hours in isn't the only solution. So today I'm going to share with you my tips on how I cope with being crushingly overwhelmed. Welcome to the Bringing Business to Retail podcast, where I, Selena Knight, share strategies, interview retail revolutionaries, and delve into the minds of e-commerce experts to help you grow a profitable, independent retail or e-commerce business. If you're stuck in a rut, or if you feel like business is way harder than it should be, or you've overachieved all of the things that you've set out to and are wondering what to do next, or how do I even make this better? I know that you're going to love today's episode. If you're stuck in a rut, feel like business is way harder than it should be, or you've achieved all of the things that you set out to and are wondering what next, or how do I even make this better, then I know that you're going to love today's episode. Hey there, Selena Knight here, the retail strategist, and these last few weeks, I have to admit, have been all-consuming for me. Between project managing a major renovation in our home and then project managing building works at our local Scout Hall as a volunteer, as well as being the treasurer of Scouts, and running a business which has seen massive growth in the last quarter, I have a lot on my plate. And then, not last weekend, the weekend before, I got sick. Now, all of this culminated into doing something completely mortifying. I'm seriously embarrassed to say this right now. I forgot to pick up a friend's kid from school. Yep, I seriously dropped the ball. It was a complete miscommunication on my part. I got the message, but because I didn't go to pick Lana up from school, I forgot to tell Ed to make sure that he picked up this other child as well. Now, it's okay. Everybody was fine. The kids are old enough now to kind of work it out themselves, and Lana's little friend went home with another one of their friends. The mums texted. It was all good. But needless to say, I was mortified. I'm the reliable person. I'm the one who, if you ask for something to be done, you can guarantee not only is it going to be done, it's going to be done early and probably under budget. So this is like my biggest fear, that I let somebody down. And that's exactly what I did. Of course, I apologized profusely. And look, the mum, not too fussed because everything turned out just fine. But I dropped the ball, and I dropped the ball because I had too much on my plate. There were probably things I should have said no to that I didn't. And look, what I'm about to say is harsh but fair. Overwhelm is 100% a product of our own making. Yep, there is nobody else to blame. It is 100% a product of our own making. And I guess this episode is to let you know that even somebody who teaches this to clients can still end up in this same situation. And in the next few weeks, and I guess the next couple of months, in the lead up to Christmas, for the majority of you who are listening to this podcast, this is going to be the most crucial trading period of the year. For a lot of you, you've seen a downturn because of all the things that have happened. I know some of you have been up, which is awesome. But the fact is, for most of the consumers out there, for your customers, we are looking for a reason to be happy. And Christmas is what we have to look forward to. So people are already spending. Christmas stock is out on the shelves. It is out in force. There are Christmas jingles playing in the shopping malls. My daughter's making Christmas wish lists. I'm making Christmas menus in my Pinterest boards. Christmas is what everybody is focusing on because we need something to be happy about. And it's no surprise that it's only going to get busier for you all. From where you are right now, over the next 6 to 8 and probably even 12 weeks right through to January, it is going to be busy, busy, busy. And you see, a lot of retail and e-commerce store owners, they're trying to grow their retail or e-commerce stores by simply putting in more hours. The busier they get, the more they work. And the biggest misconception out there is thinking that the only way that you're going to scale your store, the only way that you're going to get through this is with sheer grit and determination and hustle. But all that does is cause you to work harder only to keep you stuck where you are right now. And guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. There's a pretty good chance if you are overwhelmed, if you are feeling like you're already too busy, you are suffering from fractured marketing. Your business is feeling disjointed. There's no cohesion. And this shows up as things like posting one thing on social media, but then not sending it out into your email list, or neglecting to send newsletters altogether. Marketing one thing online and something completely different in store, or marketing one thing online and not posting it to your social media. I'm pretty sure that you probably don't have any customer segmentation in place, and you have simply forgotten all about customer personalization. Perhaps you're even running ads, but you're not doing the follow-up. You don't have the email funnels out there to make sure that the money that you're spending to acquire those clicks and get those people to your website or get them into store is actually being followed through with with emails and retargeting. It's highly likely you're doing the front end stuff, but you're not doing the back end stuff. And let me ask you, are you even running the metrics? Do you know if the offers that you're putting out there are working? Do you know if they're converting? Or are you simply just too busy to do all of that stuff? And so all you do is focus on that front end stuff. But guys, that front end stuff is expensive. And if you are just throwing away the money that you're putting out there to get people into your store or to get them to your website or to get them to click on your ads, then I really hope you have a very, very high customer lifetime value and a very high average order value so that you can recoup those costs. Now, even with the best of intents, I know that there are days that go past where it feels like you have worked yourself into the ground, but you haven't actually moved the needle forward. And let me ask you, is this really the way that you want to be working forever? Do you honestly think that the way you're working right now and the way you're going to be working in the next 6, 8, 12 weeks is going to get you to 7 or even 8 figures? It is a question that I honestly have on repeat in my head every single day. How you're working right now, Sal? Is this going to get you to the next level? Is what you've got in place right now going to get you to the next level? And a couple of weeks ago, I decided no. A couple of weeks ago, I decided that even though we are the busiest we have ever been, we need to migrate to brand new software. It's going to be a huge undertaking, but I honestly believe that we cannot move our agency business. We cannot give our clients the best experience if we don't do it. So I had to ask myself, with all of the things that I had on my plate, did we really need to do it? And the answer was yes. But I physically did not have the bandwidth in my brain. I didn't have the brain space to take this on. So I went and hired a project manager. And sure, it's not cheap, but oh my goodness, the relief of having somebody have one conversation with you and then go away and put everything together and bring it back as a document and then walk you through and then ask if you want any changes and then go off and find somebody to do the implementation. Honestly, it feels like I can breathe again. But over and over again, I see retailers in this same situation who are just so reluctant to hire. And the fact is, if you need to hire someone, you actually needed to hire them about 2 or 3 months ago. Now, funnily enough, this isn't actually a podcast about hiring, but I can tell you, after working with hundreds of retail and e-commerce businesses, that 9 times out of 10, the reason that the owner is overwhelmed is because they don't have enough people, or they're not actually delegating the tasks that need to be done to the right people. And look, there are a lot of reasons for that. We could do a whole podcast on the reasons why e-commerce and retail store owners don't delegate. And if you ever find yourself there, the simple fact is you are playing small. You are playing it safe, and you are continuing to do what you've always done. And whilst that got you here to where you are right now, which, if you're listening to this podcast, is probably very overwhelmed, it's not going to get you to the next level. And this will happen over and over and over again in business. You get to the point where the things that you were doing and were serving you so well don't work anymore. And you know what, guys? That's a great thing. It's a great thing because change fosters creativity. Change gives you that space that you need. And obviously, if you bring more people on, it's going to give you the freedom to do the things that you want to do in your business. But if you are finding yourself overwhelmed, you're finding yourself stressed, you're finding yourself freaking out about how you're going to get everything done, which, as I said, this is where I've been for the last couple of weeks, I want to give you a couple of tips on how to manage it. First of all, there are 2 key ingredients. Every successful store starts with a CEO. And if you are not calling yourself the CEO right now, then start doing it. It doesn't cost you anything. Just start saying you're the CEO of your business. Start writing it in your emails. Just pop it in the bottom. Jane Smith, CEO of XYZ brand. Or in my case, Selena Knight, CEO of the Retail Academy. That one little move, that mindset shift, can have a massive impact on the way that you do business. So key ingredient number 1 to getting over the all-consuming overwhelm is stepping up and being the CEO and taking control of your business. And the second key ingredient, you got to have a plan. When you first started out your business, you had to do all of the things because if you're like most retailers I meet, you probably had a limited budget and secretly you totally love working. But here's the thing, what got you here won't get you there. I'll say it over and over again. That startup scrappiness that got you to where you are right now is not what your business needs from you right now. Once you've gotten over those first few years, all those startup obstacles, once you've gotten over those, then you have to step up into a leadership role. Now, I'm also pretty sure that you're the kind of person who thrives on challenges. You live by deadlines. And I'll be honest, all of my team, including myself, are like this. We live by deadlines. And a little bit of stress is a good thing. But too much stress, overloading yourself with too much stuff, that's actually when your business starts to regress. And all those things that you don't enjoy doing, they fall off the to-do list. All the things you know you should be doing to grow your business, they just get pushed to the back burner and you go off and create some graphics or post on social media or tweak your website a little bit more. Things that you enjoy doing that you tell yourself are going to make massive changes, but realistically, it's just because they're easy and they're safe and you don't have to think too hard to do them. Now, you have a lot of amazing qualities to get this far in business, wherever you're at right now, to make it this far. You have amazing qualities and you've put so much time and effort in, and all of these things that you've done, it's helped your business grow to the level that you're at right now. And you should totally be proud of that. You should totally be celebrating. But the downside of it is that, and you know what, I'm completely putting my hand up here and confessing to this. If you have a team that you're working with, you probably don't give them very clear directions, which fast forwards us to the point that you never feel like you can completely let go and you never feel like you can delegate 100%. It's that old, it will just be easier if I do it mentality. The same one that's quickly followed up with, it's going to take longer to write everything out or to teach someone how to do it when I can just fix it myself and be done with it. Does anyone catch themselves doing that? Yeah? But remember, we're stepping up into that CEO role. We're taking control. So when that happens next time, I want you to ask yourself, is choosing this path to just fix it myself, to do it myself, to put more hours in, is that really going to set my business up for growth in the future? Is me doing all the things going to move my business forward? And look, I asked myself that the other day, and the answer was, I had too many things on my plate, I had too many ideas, I had too many projects, and I had no goal other than to just try and get everything done. I had no focus other than just cross as many things off the to-do list. But then, when that happens, you end up in this state of constant disappointment because that to-do list, it is always just going to get longer. And the repercussions can be that you end up with an unfulfilled team. You have people who are perfectly capable of doing stuff, but they always feel like you don't trust them. And of course, that ends in this giant spiral of a business that doesn't go anywhere as fast as it should be. And like I said earlier, this is totally a product of our own making. The good news is, it is ridiculously simple to fix. So when I found myself in this position last week, I had to pull myself out of it. I had to just say, you know what? You've done this before. What would you tell one of your clients to do? And so I got out a piece of paper and I wrote them down, and that's what I'm going to share with you now. So my top tips for when you feel like you are being crushingly overwhelmed go a little something like this. First off, it goes without saying, you gotta hire before you need to. And that's where we are at in our business. We're hiring before we actually need the people. We know that we can have the time and the space to train them up without impacting our current client load. And guys, a word of warning here. Too many retailers take warm bodies over no bodies because they think something is better than nothing. But as we come into the craziest season of the year where hopefully you're going to be making the most money, you cannot afford to have salespeople, in particular salespeople, but any team members who don't make you money. Every person who works for you should be working as part of the team to make the business more money. And if they're just standing around twiddling their fingers, if they're not going the extra mile, then it is time to get rid of them and find somebody who will make you more money, for someone who actually enjoys turning up and doing the job. I was talking with one client a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about this team member who really wasn't pulling their weight. And my client said, I actually get an almost anxiety attack every time I have to walk into the store that this person is in, because I get so angry and so frustrated that they just can't do their job. You know what I'm going to say here, right? Get rid of them. You do not need people giving you extra stress. If they don't communicate, if they don't follow processes, or they don't contribute to the growth of the business, then they are out of there. Because what's going to happen if you keep them is you're going to get more stressed out. You're going to end up stressing out the rest of your team. You're going to end up with a really poor culture where the team itself doesn't gel well. And guys, customers can sense this. And you do not want this going out to your customers. You don't want that sense when somebody walks into a store that it's not a great place to be. What was I saying earlier? This is not a hiring podcast? Okay, so the next tip is something's got to give. When you get into these situations, and look, if you're doing a massive product launch or in those weeks, in the crazy weeks in the lead up to Christmas, you will be busy, right? We know that. It's Christmas. But you can also be okay with it and let things go. Be okay with the fact that you can have takeaway 2 nights in a row. The washing might not get done. The cleaning might not get done. All that stuff, guys, is not going to end the world. But sweating the small stuff, that's going to send your stress levels through the roof. If you really feel like it has to be done, hire a cleaner. Find somebody to do it. Get some HelloFresh meals delivered, whatever that looks like for you. Or just know that it's going to happen for a very short period of time while the chaos is here, and then everything's going to get back to normal. But you're allowed to let things give. You run a successful business. Just don't let it stay like that all the time. Okay, my next tip is prioritize, prioritize, prioritize. It is never too late to get your crap together. Now, what this looks like in your business is which pillar should you be focusing on for the next 90 days? I'm going to take a pretty good guess and say sales. For most of you, sales is the only pillar that you should be focusing on in this rundown to Christmas. So with that in mind, how many superfluous tasks are you doing that don't actually generate sales? And this is such an easy thing for you to do. Every time you have a task that needs to be done, just ask yourself, is this going to make me more money? And if the answer is no, and it's not something that you are legally required to do, like pay your taxes or pay your suppliers, then I want you to rethink, do you really need to be doing it right now? Can it just wait? Write all the tasks down. You've got that to-do list. Go through and prioritize which one of these things is going to make me money and which of these, is actually just something I want to do because I enjoy doing it. And it's the playing small, safe thing to do that makes me feel comfortable. To maximize your revenue and to minimize the bandwidth that your business takes up, focusing on these tasks will actually move you through the next 90 days so much easier. And it also helps you prioritize the tasks that maybe you don't even have on your to-do list. So if it is sales that you are focusing on, what can you do right now to make more money? Can you send out more offers? Have you put together your Black Friday, Cyber Monday promo? Have you done anything to get your customers to come back into store or back to your website? What are you doing to get those customers to buy? And my next tip is to set expectations. When you are really clear, and let's be honest, you can't do this unless you are really clear on where you're going to be focusing your time and energy for the next 90 days, when you are clear of what you're going to be doing, it is so much easier to sit down with your team and even your family and say, hey, this is what the next couple of months is going to look like. Because people get angry and they get frustrated when their expectations are not being met. So if you take the time to prioritize when you're going to be working, when is your family time, when is your you time, you can say, hey, I'm going to be really busy during the week, but come Friday at 4:00, I'm switching off. I am all yours to your family. And vice versa. You can say to your team, look, I am here Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., but come the weekend, somebody else is in charge. Whatever that looks like for you. But having those focus tasks, having the goal, having the focus, knowing who's going to do what, and that prioritization means you aren't just getting up and working your butt off to get those things done on the to-do list. You actually know what needs to be done so that you can get to the goal that you need to get to. And when you've done that, it's so much easier to set and to manage expectations. Now, something else that you might want to implement is a debrief at the end of each day or at the end of each week. Depending on how your business and your home life runs, maybe every day might be a bit too much, but at least sitting down at the end of each week and just talking through what worked, what didn't work, what needs to be changed, how your metrics are looking, what's your average order value like, how many website visitors have you got, just spending that bit of time. And guys, it only needs to be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour tops, where you can recap how your week has turned out and set yourself up for the following week. Because if you aren't measuring what's working, then how are you going to know what to do more of? And likewise, if there's stuff that's not working, you can't continue to put time and money and energy and resources in to something that doesn't give you a return. Now, these debriefs don't have to be complex. They can just be super simple where you share feedback. In your case, you're probably going to look at those stats and those metrics and give feedback to your team about what's working, what's not, the changes that you're going to make. And these simple debriefs can work wonders for growing your business and for reducing that overwhelm and stress that is on you. You will be surprised at what people are prepared to step up and help you achieve when all you do is communicate with them. So guys, as we head into the silly season, I want you to go easy on yourself And as counterintuitive as it may seem, the easiest way for you to do that is to step up and take control of your business. And if you need some help to do those tasks that are falling off your to-do list, that email marketing, those website updates, or simply some one-on-one help to grow your business, then head over to selinaknight.com and click on the Work With Me navigation button, and you can see the ways that either myself or my team can help you take a load off your plate and grow your business. Okay, that's it for me, guys. I will see you right back here, same time, same place next week. Until then, stay profitable. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Bringing Business to Retail podcast. You can find all of the show notes over at selinaknight.com. If you found something that you heard today particularly useful, I'd love it if you could leave me a review on iTunes or Stitcher. And of course, feel free to share this episode with someone that you think could benefit by listening to it. Want more retail biz strategies? You can watch the Bringing Business to Retail TV show, where each week I'll answer a question or provide you with a simple, actionable retail biz strategy that you can implement in your business right away. If you have a question or a guest, I'd love to hear from you. Drop my team an email at podcast@selinaknight.com, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great week.